Hello, my wonderful viewers, and welcome to another episode of Betty Adams Overanalyzes. Today, we're going to take a fully spoilery look at Kaiju number 8, chapter 76. And I've also got some fun and important, exciting announcements to make about my book and life in general, but Kaiju number 8, chapter 76. Now, there will be full spoilers. I will give you the warning when they're about to happen. There will be a short spoiler-free section first, and then we'll get into the full spoilers. So the spoiler-free section is this. In my spoiler-free review, I commented that this is a longer chapter. It's got 32 pages. That's a big chapter. And that's because there's a lot of characters in play and a lot of things going on. But one of the things about Matsumoto is that we've learned over the past few years is Matsumoto doesn't waste panels. Matsumoto doesn't waste storytelling time. Matsumoto doesn't waste space. If something is on the page, it's there for a reason. If something takes up more than 3 panels, you better pay attention to it. And there is a concept being driven home, which is a concept that we as readers are already well aware of, and Matsumoto takes 11 pages to drive this concept home. And I just don't know why, which is a real green flag for me. Matsumoto was waving this flag back and forth, summoning our attention to it, and saying, look at this, this is important, which is confusing because I thought that concept was simply an established part of the background lore. But what concept is it? I am going to get into that, into the fully spoilery section, which is coming up next. So to give you a chance to click away, I will go tell you to check out my book that just dropped on Amazon and Barnes & Noble, Google, and Kobo. Humans Are Weird, Let's Work It Out, the 3rd book in the series of human absurdity. As usual, this is a series of short stories about human absurdity interacting with aliens. As of the time I'm recording this, it's the paperback version. It's not live on Amazon yet, but it is live on Barnes & Noble. But you can go get yourself the Kindle version from Amazon, and I should have sent the last okay. The paperback version should be up soon on Kindle on Amazon within the next 48 hours, but if I finally got the cover formatted right. But anyway, Humans Are Weird, Let's Work It Out, available on Amazon. You've now had time to click away. It's time to get into the fully spoilery section of our review of Kaiju number 8, chapter 76. And the concept that Matsumoto spent 11 pages pounding into our heads this chapter was that Mina is a powerhouse. Now, we've known that. That's been a major element, but I never really thought it would be a plot point. And yet, again, 11 pages. Not 11 panels, 11 pages. So we're looking at somewhere between 30 and 50 individual panels, all dedicated to the raw power that Mina Ashiro is sporting. Mina Ashiro is sporting the power of a modern battleship with just her one weapon that's shown here, which is another railgun. Awesome. But Mina is blasting from 20 kilometers. Now, that's 15 miles. Now, there is a famous folk song in Western mythology. I don't know if Matsumoto's ever heard of it, but his main character is named after a famous French novel. But this was a folk song written by Johnny Horton 80 years ago. It's called Sink the Bismarck. Now, this is a folk song. It's all about how the British Navy went up against the German Navy at the beginning of, right before World War II started. And there was this massive battle between this one massive battleship and pretty much all the other navies of the world at the time. It was the most advanced battleship. It had been built in defiance of arms regulations at the time. But one of the refrains in the ship is the Bismarck started firing from 15 miles away. Now, 20 kilometers isn't exactly 15 miles, but that has been the marker for the ultimate range of weaponry for accuracy. The Bismarck could fire from that same distance, from that 20 kilometer distance, with accuracy. Not the accuracy that Mina shows with her hyper railgun, with her hyper superpowered railgun, but still, it just goes to drive home. Captain Mina Ashiro is firing weapons with the power of a full-on battleship. She alone is a weapon the equal of a battleship. Of course, like the battleship, she has her support system, her support group, But with that the railgun, the massive weapons she's using, is too weak to contain her power. 3 shots, she destroys the railgun. The limit here is not her, it is the iron and steel of the weapons she's using. Mina is so powerful that she destroys her weapons. This is a motif that we do see occasionally in manga. The swordsman who constantly has to get new swords forged because his power is destroying the old ones, be that supernatural power or his simple physical power. Now, again, this isn't anything unusual, but this is a 32-page long chapter building up for a major story arc. Why is Matsumoto spending 11 pages, the main point of which is something we already know on a fundamental level? We know that Mina is the most powerful in the defense force. She took the 3rd division from literally being 3rd in line to being the one division that the defense force promotes as their golden division. They're the 3rd division, not the 1st division, is the one that gets puts on the recruiting advertisements. Mina is that powerhouse. She lacks mobility. She lacks speed, but she has power. It was her power that Kakoru wanted to emulate. And again, why 11 pages of driving this home? Possibly Mina, who is someone that Kaiju was already on Kaiju number 9's radar from the very beginning. One of the first times we see Kaiju number 9 speak, he's wondering if she really is that powerful. So, is this a sign that just like Director General Iso Shinamaya was Kaiju number 9's first target, is Mina Ashuro going to be Kaiju number 9's next primary target? Obviously, Kaiju number 9 is going after Kaiju number 8 in this situation. He was irritated that Kaiju number 8 hadn't shown himself in that first battle. But this level of power is definitely going to attract Kaiju number 9. She just took out 6 massive supergiant Kaiju with 3 shots. That means she was, which was something I was wondering last time. I saw one of the panels and I'm like, did she just line that shot up to take out 2 Kaiju with 1 shot? Yeah, she did, because she only shot 3 rounds and she took out all 6 Kaiju. So she averaged 2 Kaiju per shot at 20 kilometers away. So again, this chapter, the first third of this chapter, more than the first third of this chapter, is driving home just how powerful Mina Ashuro is. There's also a side note about, well, it's showing some of Kafka's behavior and showing how these people, these super powerful, awesome warriors, are also just human, a little better than children in age, with their petty competitions and stuff. But again, the main point of that first 11 pages is how powerful Mina Ashuro is. And again, the first time we heard Kaiju number 9 speak is him wondering exactly how powerful Mina Ashuro is. So I think the most likely scenario is that Matsumoto preparing us for the heart-rending moment when Kaiju number 9 takes Captain Ashuro. We'll see. That's probably going to be a ways off, even if it does happen. But what do you think? What are your concepts? Why is the first third of this entire chapter just Captain Ashuro being amazing and powerful? The rest of the chapter is dedicated to setting up the chess players on the field with a literal chess metaphor of Kaiju number 9. I mean, it would be really awesome if in real life, in universe, in the story, he was literally holding a chess piece. That would be something very Kaiju number 9-y to do, but I can't say that he is. But anyway, the rest of the chapter is dedicated to Kaiju number 9 holding this up. There's that beat moment where all the Defense Force members are going, hey, these things are not being nearly as destructive as they could. What's going on? Then we flash over to Kaiju number 9. And all of those, we get 4 more Kaiju, basically. 4 of the ones that we saw. And this is another something that surprised me. Kakoru facing down her brainy ballerina doppelganger. I thought that was going to be a much bigger moment, but it is just one of the 4 beats going on here. I'm Kikoru facing down the brainy ballerina kaiju is only one of 4 or 5 major beats that's going on. I thought that Kikoru facing down the brainy ballerina, this doppelganger that kind of looks like her, which is kind of a sideways living memory of from her father, I thought this was going to her recognizing that, her experiencing that trauma was going to be the main beat of whenever this happened. But it's just one quarter beat in a major movement. So we've got each of our major Kaiju Defense Force players, except for Kafka, because he still is hidden as Kafka and isn't showing himself as Kaiju number 8, is facing down a numbered Kaiju. We've got, respectively, Kaijus number 11, 12, 13, and 14. Now, 11 we have seen before, 14 we've seen before, but 12 and 13 are just generic enough that they might have been Kaiju we saw previously, or they might have been some of the mysterious Kaiju that were sneaking around doing other stuff. Kaiju number 12 looks like Kaiju number 12 does look like an upgraded version of Kaiju number 10, so possibly there might be some rivalry between 12 and 10, especially as 10 has definitely got a rival-forming attitude. And so, yeah, so the first third of this chapter, one theme, one concept. Mina Ashiro is far, far more powerful than Kaiju number 9 ever calculated. And Kaiju number 9 is now aware of that fact. Beat 2 is, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4 pages. The calm before the we'll call it 5 pages. 3 pages of the calm before the storm, and 2 pages of focusing in on the villain to see what the next beat is going to be. Then the remaining number of pages are setting up the 4 big fights that we're going to see between the Kaiju and the major players in the defense force. Really good chapter, as all Matsumoto's chapters do. It flew by. It did not feel like 32 pages. But yeah, distinctly divided into 2 separate parts. Setting up the major battles between the mobile Defense Force officers and their opponents. And again, that one huge beat showing us how powerful Mina Ashiro is. But what do you think? Matsumoto never does more than one thing with such a major story element. So, 1 is setting her up to be the primary target for Kaiju number 9's next absorption attempt going forward. But what are 2 and 3? What else is going on with this? 2 might be setting up that these awesome warriors are still human beings with all their flaws and weaknesses. But what's 3rd? What else is going on here? Leave a comment below. I'd really love to hear your thoughts on what you think is going on. Hit that like and subscribe button, and peace out, my wonderful viewers.